The stars glimmered in the black sky above Avena, a distant planet known for its unusual landscapes and strange glowing flora. Human explorers had arrived on this world with one goal: to understand its people, the Avenians, and learn from their culture. Among the team was Leo, a tall man with calm eyes and steady hands, who had a reputation for building machines that never seemed to fail. As the human ship descended, the team could see the cities of Avena sprawling like webs of light in the night. Towers that seemed to float above the ground, connected by shimmering bridges, reflected a civilization advanced in many ways. The humans stepped out onto the soft, luminescent grass. The air was breathable but had a faint, sweet scent that was unfamiliar. Soon they were greeted by the Avenians. They were taller than humans, with smooth, shimmering skin that seemed to change color based on their emotions. Among them was Ira, a young scientist with bright eyes and a curious mind. She looked at the humans with polite skepticism. Unlike most Avenians, Ira had always been interested in the practical, hands-on aspects of science rather than theory. "Welcome, humans," she said in a clear, melodic voice. "We are eager to learn about your ways. You arrive with many machines, yet your people seem different," Leo smiled politely. "Thank you. We come in peace. We hope to learn from you as much as you learn from us." The Avenians led the humans to a large plaza filled with crowds, all curious about the visitors. It was customary for the newcomers to demonstrate some aspect of their technology or culture. Leo's team had brought several machines, but one was especially interesting. A small compact device capable of performing multiple heavy tasks in sequence without breaking. Ira raised an eyebrow. "Your machine?" she said, pointing. "It can perform repeated tasks without rest? That is impossible for us. Our tools fail after a single operation. How can you make it endure so much effort?" Leo chuckled softly. "It's a matter of design. Humans build machines to last, and we pay attention to every detail, but it's not just the machine. It's how we think about problems and solve them." Ira looked intrigued but unconvinced. She motioned for Leo to demonstrate. "Show me, human. Let us see if your claims are true." The humans cleared a space in the plaza. Curious Avenians gathered close, whispering to each other. Leo placed the tool on the ground and pressed a button. The machine came alive with a quiet hum. It began lifting heavy rocks, moving them from one place to another with perfect precision. The crowd murmured in amazement. Then Leo switched its mode. The device started welding two metal plates together with precise, even sparks. The plates joined seamlessly. The Avenians gasped. Ira's eyes widened. She had studied human engineering in her own time, but this demonstration surpassed her expectations. How can it do so much without overheating or breaking?" she asked, clearly impressed. Leo smiled. "We use materials designed to handle stress, and we make sure parts can repair themselves or be replaced easily. We also test them under conditions they might face in real life. Humans believe that a tool should last, not fail after one use." Ira's curiosity grew stronger. She wanted to know more, not just about the machine, but about the humans themselves. "Do you always work so tirelessly? Is your people's endurance in machines like your people themselves?" Leo nodded. "We value persistence. We plan for problems and try solutions again and again if needed. Sometimes that means we test a machine hundreds of times. Sometimes it means we try again ourselves until we succeed." The Avenians looked at each other. In their culture, tools and workers both had strict limits.
Anything used beyond those limits would fail.
Seeing humans work tirelessly and machines perform repeatedly was almost unbelievable. Ira stepped closer. "I wish to study this more. Perhaps you can show me your designs and I can compare them with ours. Maybe your methods can teach us something." Leo agreed. Over the next hour, he explained the principles behind the machine. He showed Ira how it had multiple layers of protection, modular parts, and self-check systems. Ira listened carefully, taking notes on her glowing tablet. She asked questions about every detail. Why was this material chosen? Why was this part shaped like this? How did humans anticipate problems? Through the discussion, Ira began to understand the deeper philosophy behind human tools. Humans did not simply build machines. They built solutions that could adapt, endure, and recover. Each machine reflected patience, thoughtfulness, and resilience, traits the Avenians admired but rarely practiced in such a direct way. "Your people," Ira said finally, "you do not see failure as the end. You see it as information. That is different from us. Perhaps that is why your tools last so long. Leo nodded. Yes, we learn from failure and use that knowledge to improve. We believe that persistence and planning together make both people and machines stronger. The crowd of Avenians watched silently, some nodding thoughtfully. For the first time, many of them realized that humans might not be physically stronger than them, but their minds and methods gave them an advantage unlike anything the Avenians had seen. As the sun rose over Avena's glowing horizon, Leo and Ira continued their discussion. They moved to a quieter place away from the plaza, where the hum of machines and soft chatter of Avenians created a calm environment. Ira's skepticism had shifted into genuine curiosity. She wanted to see if humans could truly maintain their endurance under even greater stress. Tomorrow, she said, we will test both your tools and your people. Can you keep performing under continuous challenge? Leo smiled confidently. We can try. That is how humans learn and prove themselves. The first day ended with a sense of excitement and possibility. Avenians who had doubted humans began to whisper about their resilience, and even skeptics like Ira started to see a new potential for collaboration. The humans had arrived as strangers, but by demonstrating their persistence, ingenuity, and willingness to work tirelessly, they had earned respect and curiosity. As night fell, Leo looked at the stars again, thinking about the challenges ahead. He knew that the coming test would push both humans and Avenians beyond what either species thought possible, but he also knew that this was the beginning of a unique bond. A bond built not on strength alone, but on endurance, adaptability, and the relentless human spirit. And somewhere in the glowing fields of Avena, Ira watched the humans' machines rest, silent for the night, and wondered just how much further these visitors could go. The next morning, the sun of Avena rose slowly, casting a soft golden glow over the alien city. Its towers shimmered like liquid glass, reflecting the strange light in every direction. Leo and his team prepared for the demonstration. Today, the challenge was not just to show the machine's abilities, but to prove that humans themselves could endure repeated work without faltering. The plaza had filled with Avenians once more. Word had spread about the remarkable tool that could perform endless tasks without breaking. Curious citizens, scientists, and even children gathered, their eyes wide with anticipation. Ira stood near the front, her usual calm and critical expression replaced by a mixture of excitement and focus. Leo looked at the crowd and nodded to his team. Let's begin, he said. His voice was steady, full of quiet confidence. He placed the tool in the center of the plaza. Unlike yesterday, he intended to push it to its limits. The machine powered on with a soft hum. First, it lifted massive metallic blocks, stacking them carefully. Sparks flew from welding attachments as the device joined plates together. Each movement was precise, quick, and seemingly effortless. The crowd gasped in amazement. For the Avenians, it was a marvel to watch a single device perform so many complex tasks in succession. Ira stepped forward, clearly impressed. It continues to function without pause, she murmured. Our machines would have broken after the first few tasks. How does it endure so much stress? Leo smiled. The secret is preparation and design. We make machines with materials that can resist heat and stress. We test them under conditions that are more extreme than they might ever face, and we plan for failure so if a part fails, it can be replaced easily. Ira nodded slowly, absorbing the information. She had studied human machines and their materials before, but seeing the tool in action made her realize that humans thought differently. They did not fear failure. Instead, they treated it as a step toward improvement. To demonstrate further, Leo switched the tool to another mode. The device began carving intricate patterns into solid blocks, drilling, lifting, and assembling simultaneously. Sparks flew and the crowd murmured in amazement. The speed, accuracy, and resilience of the tool left everyone stunned. Even the children whispered excitedly, pointing at the machine as it worked tirelessly. Can it really keep going without ever stopping? One Avenian asked a friend. Leo overheard and laughed softly. We believe a tool should last as long as it is needed, he said. And humans do the same with ourselves. We keep learning, keep working, and keep improving. The demonstration reached its climax when Leo placed a particularly heavy metal beam in the machine's grip. The device lifted it high, pivoting carefully to align it with a welding point. Sparks flew and the beam settled perfectly into place. The crowd erupted in applause, their glowing eyes wide with admiration. Even Ira's usually composed expression could not hide her astonishment. "This is incredible," she said. "Your people must be very patient. You do not stop, you do not tire, and your machines never fail. There is a lesson here for all of us," Leo nodded. "Persistence is key. We plan, we adapt, and we continue until the job is done. Sometimes it takes many attempts, sometimes it takes teamwork, but we always try to solve problems." After the applause settled, Leo invited Ira to try the machine herself. She hesitated, then stepped forward, curious. With careful guidance, she operated the tool, moving it through a series of controlled tasks. She was precise, but she quickly realized the difference in approach. The Avenian way relied on single-use precision, while the human way relied on endurance, adaptability, and constant observation. "I see now," Ira said slowly, stepping back. "Your methods. They are not just about strength or design. They are about continuous effort, careful observation, and learning from every moment. You do not fear repetition. You embrace it," Leo smiled. "Exactly. Repetition is how we improve. Each task is a chance to see what works and what does not. Each attempt makes the next one better. That is why both our tools and our people endure more than you might expect." The crowd watched, fascinated, as Leo continued to demonstrate the tool. He showed its modular parts, how they could be replaced quickly, and how the device could self-check for errors. Ira examined every detail, jotting notes on her tablet. She asked questions about materials, energy sources, and design principles. "It is not just the tool that is remarkable," she said. "It is the thinking behind it. Humans design for the long term, not just for immediate results. You anticipate problems before they occur." "That is very unusual," Leo nodded. "We believe in preparation and persistence. Machines are important, but humans make them better. That is why we succeed even when conditions are difficult." As the day progressed, Leo and Ira worked side by side, testing the machine in increasingly challenging tasks. They lifted heavier objects, carved more complex patterns, and performed simultaneous operations that seemed impossible at first. The human tool endured, and Leo himself worked tirelessly, moving, guiding, and adjusting. Ira observed closely, impressed not only by the tool but by Leo's stamina. Unlike the Avenians, who often rested after short bursts of work, Leo moved constantly, thinking ahead, adjusting, and coordinating. She realized that human endurance was not only physical but mental as well. Humans could keep trying, learning, and improving long after other species would have stopped. By the end of the demonstration, the Avenian crowd was buzzing with excitement. They had witnessed something extraordinary. Not only had a human-made tool performed tasks continuously without failure, but the humans operating it had shown an energy and determination that was almost alien in itself. Ira approached Leo, her eyes bright. "You have proven your point. Your machines can work endlessly, and so can you. But more than that, you have shown a way of thinking that we have never truly understood before. There is much we can learn from this," Leo smiled. "Thank you. We are glad to share. Understanding and cooperation are how progress is made, whether for humans or Avenians." As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the plaza, the humans packed up their machines. The Avenians continued to whisper among themselves, excited and inspired by what they had seen. Ira stayed behind with Leo, continuing to discuss the principles behind the tool and the human approach to problem-solving. "This is just the beginning," Leo said quietly. "Tomorrow we will face even greater challenges. But today has shown that persistence, preparation, and teamwork can achieve what others might consider impossible." Ira nodded. "Yes, and perhaps tomorrow our people will begin to see that failure is not the end. It is a chance to learn. Your demonstration has changed how we think. I want to explore more to see how humans endure and succeed under conditions we have never experienced ourselves." Leo looked up at the sky, feeling the quiet hum of the city around him. He knew that the challenges ahead would test both humans and Avenians, but he also knew that curiosity, persistence, and cooperation would guide them through. The bond forming between the two species was fragile but strong, built on respect, learning, and the human way of never giving up. And as night fell over Avena, the glowing city lights reflected the hope of a future where humans and Avenians might work together, sharing knowledge, solving problems, and discovering the true power of endurance. The morning light of Avena filtered through the crystalline towers, illuminating the city in shades of soft green and gold. The humans had spent the night reviewing data from the previous day's demonstration. Leo was already at the laboratory, a large space filled with alien machines, glowing panels, and holographic displays. Ira arrived shortly after, her curiosity unmistakable in her bright eyes. "Good morning, Leo," she said. "I have thought about your tool all night. It is not just the device that is remarkable. It is the human mind behind it," Leo smiled. "Good morning, Ira. I am glad you are curious. That is how learning begins." The lab was filled with alien tools, delicate and precise, but unlike human machines, most could perform only a single function before needing repair. Ira led Leo to a table covered with small alien devices. "These are our standard tools," she explained. "They are designed for accuracy, but they cannot endure repeated use. We do not need them to last beyond a single operation. Your machines, they do much more." Leo studied the tools carefully. He noted the differences in material, structure, and design. "I see," he said thoughtfully. "Your tools are precise, but they are not designed for endurance. They rely on perfect conditions and short use. Humans, on the other hand, designed for adaptability and long-term performance. We expect machines to face imperfect conditions and still function." Ira nodded slowly. "Yes, but why do humans do this? Why do your machines and people endure beyond what others expect?" Leo looked around the lab, considering how best to explain. "Humans face challenges constantly. We do not assume things will always go as planned. We expect obstacles. We plan, adapt, and improve as we go. Machines reflect this thinking, and people do the same. We persist even when conditions are difficult." Ira tapped a few buttons on her tablet, bringing up diagrams and charts. "Your explanation makes sense, but it is more than just machines. When you demonstrated yesterday, your people did not tire like ours would. You kept working, adjusting, and improving without pause." "Yes," Leo replied. "Humans can endure because we anticipate challenges and learn from them. Failure is not the end. It is information. Each time we try, we understand more. That applies to tools and to people." Ira studied the humans closely. "I have read about human physiology and psychology, but seeing it in action is different. You have stamina, but you also have patience, observation, and adaptation. That combination. It is rare in our experience." Leo gestured toward his tool. "This machine is just one example. It can perform many tasks repeatedly because it is designed to adapt and repair itself. We include redundancies, anticipate stress, and constantly monitor its performance. Humans do the same with our actions. We anticipate problems and adjust. Endurance comes from preparation, observation, and persistence." Ira's eyes shone with interest. She picked up a small Avenian device and examined it alongside the human machine. "I want to understand fully. Perhaps if we test both, we can learn why humans can do so much more." Leo nodded. "That is the idea. Learning comes from testing and observation. Let us compare and discover together." Over the next several hours, Leo and Ira ran a series of experiments. They tested weight-bearing capacity, continuous operation, and stress resistance. The Avenian tools failed after short periods, while the human machine performed repeatedly without significant wear. More impressively, the humans operating the machine, including Leo, continued to guide it tirelessly. Ira recorded everything carefully. "It is remarkable," she said. "Even under extreme conditions, humans adapt, adjust, and continue. Your species does not rely only on physical strength. You rely on intelligence, observation, and continuous learning." Leo smiled. "Exactly. We combine planning with persistence. Machines reflect our way of thinking. They are not just tools. They are extensions of our approach to challenges. When humans face obstacles, we find solutions. Our tools do the same." The Avenian scientist continued to take notes, her mind racing with ideas. She began sketching hybrid designs that incorporated some of Leo's principles. "Perhaps we can design new tools that endure longer," she said. "But even more importantly, humans themselves can teach us about resilience and adaptation. Our species has never seen this level of endurance applied so effectively." Leo leaned back and watched her work. "Yes, that is why we demonstrate not only our machines but also ourselves. Humans do not stop at the first obstacle. We persist, improve, and keep moving forward. That is why our tools last, why our projects succeed, and why our species continues to grow." Ira paused, looking thoughtful. "It is not just technology. It is philosophy. Humans embrace repetition, observation, and adaptation as a natural part of progress. We Avenians avoid failure and rely on precision. But your method allows for growth beyond what we imagined. Yes, Leo agreed. Learning comes from trial, adjustment, and persistence. That is the human way. As the afternoon passed, Ira invited other Avenian scientists to the lab. They watched as humans demonstrated endurance, precision, and adaptability. Each experiment revealed more about human thinking. The aliens began to understand that humans combined physical, mental, and strategic endurance in a way that no species they had studied had ever matched. By evening, Ira gathered the group. Today we have learned something extraordinary, she said. Humans show us that endurance is not only physical, it is thought, planning, and learning combined. Their tools last because they expect problems and adapt. Their people endure because they plan, observe, and persist. This is a lesson we have not learned before. Leo nodded. We are glad to share. Endurance is not about ignoring limits. It is about preparation, observation, and learning. That applies to both machines and people. The Avenians were quiet for a moment, reflecting on the demonstration. They had always admired precision and efficiency, but humans had shown them a new way of thinking. They realized that resilience, adaptability, and persistence were just as important as accuracy. Ira looked at Leo, a sense of admiration in her eyes. You have shown more than a machine. You have shown a method of thinking, a way of approaching life and challenges that is rare in our experience. Humans are remarkable in ways we did not understand before. Leo smiled. Thank you, Ira. That is what we hope to share. Not just machines, but ideas. Not just tools, but the way to use them wisely. Learning and cooperation make both species stronger. As night fell, the lab glowed softly with light from the machines. Leo and Ira continued their discussion, planning experiments for the next day. The humans were eager to test even further, and the Avenians were excited to learn. A new understanding had formed, one based on curiosity, respect, and the willingness to explore limits. Ira reflected on what she had seen. She realized that humans were more than their machines. Their endurance, adaptability, and persistence were qualities that could inspire an entire civilization. She began to think of ways to apply these lessons to Avenian tools, work methods, and even education. Leo, meanwhile, considered the challenges ahead. He knew that demonstrating endurance was only the beginning. True tests of resilience and adaptability would come when humans and Avenians faced real danger or unexpected challenges together. But he was confident that persistence, learning, and cooperation would guide them through. And as the stars shone above Avena, the lab hummed quietly with life. Humans and Avenians worked side by side, sharing knowledge, learning from each other, and discovering the true meaning of endurance. The morning sun of Avena bathed the city in a soft golden light. Everything seemed peaceful, but a sudden alarm echoed through the crystal towers. Red lights flashed across the control panels and a loud hum filled the air. The main energy plant, the source of power for much of the city, was failing. Machines groaned and sparks flew as the systems began to overload. Leo and his team were quickly alerted. We need to get to the plant immediately, Leo said calmly, though his mind raced. The humans grabbed their tools and rushed through the city, moving as efficiently as possible. Ira followed closely, guiding them through the twisting corridors and showing them the fastest paths. When they arrived, the scene was chaotic. Avenian machines, normally precise and dependable, had failed after continuous operation. Sparks and smoke filled the air. The alien engineers were panicked, trying to stabilize the systems, but their tools could not handle the repeated stress. The humans quickly assessed the situation. This is bad, but we can help, Leo said. Our machines can handle continuous work. We need to distribute them to critical points and stabilize the system. Ira nodded. Do whatever you can. The city depends on this plant. Leo's team deployed the human multifunction devices. The machines began lifting, repairing, welding, and moving components with precision and endurance. Sparks flew as they worked, but the devices never slowed. Even more impressive, Leo and his team worked tirelessly alongside the machines, guiding, adjusting, and repairing. Ira watched in awe. They do not tire, she whispered. She realized that humans and their machines together could perform repeated heavy tasks without failure. Unlike Avenian tools and engineers who needed rest and repairs after every operation, humans could continue as long as needed. Hours passed, and the crisis deepened. A particularly large energy conduit had begun to fail. If it collapsed, Large sections of the city would lose power. The Avenian engineers hesitated, unsure if they could hold it in place. Leo quickly stepped forward. "I can stabilize it," he said. "We will lift and secure it with our tools. Everyone, follow my lead." With careful coordination, Leo and his team worked together. The machines lifted the conduit, holding it steadily while humans repaired the failing connections. Sparks flew, heat built up, but neither humans nor machines slowed. Every adjustment, every repair was precise and calculated. The Avenians watched in astonishment. "This is incredible," Ira said, speaking aloud for the first time since the crisis began. "Your machines are strong, but your people are extraordinary." Leo nodded, sweat on his forehead but his eyes steady. "Persistence and planning. We anticipate problems and act quickly. That is how we survive challenges." As the day wore on, the humans moved from one critical point to another. Every section of the energy plant that was failing was stabilized. Their machines continued without pause, and the humans themselves showed endurance beyond what the Avenians thought possible. Even when exhausted, they adapted, adjusted, and kept going. At one point, a heavy metallic beam fell unexpectedly. A human engineer named Mina dove forward, guiding the beam safely into place while a machine lifted part of its weight. Ira gasped. "No one would dare do that here," she said. "Avenians would wait for the machine to reset or fail. Humans act immediately, without hesitation." Leo glanced at her. "Action is part of adaptation. Waiting too long can cause failure. We work with what we have and keep moving. That is how problems are solved." The crowd of Avenian engineers and citizens began to understand. Humans were not just skilled in using machines. They could endure pressure, think ahead, and act quickly. Their resilience was something the Avenians had rarely seen. Ira realized that endurance was not just about physical strength, but also about adaptability, quick thinking, and persistence. By late afternoon, the main energy conduit was fully stabilized. The critical systems of the plant were repaired, and power gradually returned to the city. The Avenians cheered, their eyes wide with amazement and newfound respect. Ira stepped forward to address Leo and his team. "You have saved our city," she said, her voice filled with admiration. "Your tools performed without fail, but more importantly, your people endured and adapted. Humans do not stop at obstacles. You persist, learn, and succeed even when situations seem impossible. You have taught us something we will never forget." Leo smiled, though his body ached from hours of continuous work. "We are glad to help. Endurance is not about ignoring limits. It is about preparation, observation, and persistence. That applies to machines and people alike." Ira nodded, clearly inspired. "Our civilization can learn from this. We must design not only better tools but also better approaches to work. We must understand that persistence and adaptation are as important as precision." The humans began to pack up their machines. The energy plant hummed steadily now, all systems functioning correctly. The Avenians moved among them, asking questions about the machines, the repairs, and the human methods. Ira stayed close to Leo, her mind racing with ideas for future collaboration. "This is only the beginning," Leo said quietly. "Tomorrow we can start working together to design machines and systems that combine your precision with our endurance. That is how civilizations grow stronger." Ira smiled. "Yes, and more than that, humans have shown us that people themselves can endure and adapt. That is a lesson our engineers and citizens will remember forever." As night fell, the city lights reflected off the towers, glowing softly across the plaza. The humans rested, tired but satisfied. They had faced the greatest challenge so far on Avena, and had proven both the strength of their tools and the endurance of their people. Ira watched them with admiration. She realized something profound. Humans were remarkable not because they were stronger than the Avenians, but because they could persist, adapt, and learn under pressure. That combination of intelligence, endurance, and resilience was what made them extraordinary. The Avenian engineers approached Leo and his team, asking how to apply these lessons to their own tools. Together they began sketching new designs combining human durability and Avenian precision. Ira guided the process, inspired by the humans' methods and resilience. "This day will be remembered," she said softly to Leo. "You have not only saved our city but also changed the way we think about work, endurance, and adaptation. Humans are truly remarkable." Leo looked at the city, now stable and humming with light. "Thank you, Ira. We are glad to help." This is the beginning of a new collaboration, one where humans and Avenians can learn from each other and achieve more together. As the stars rose above Avena, the humans and Avenians worked side by side in the glowing laboratory, planning the next steps. Machines, people, and ideas blended together, forming a new path forward. Challenges would come, but the humans had shown that persistence, learning, and adaptation could overcome even the most difficult obstacles. The crisis had tested them all, but it had also strengthened the bond between the species. The Avenians had witnessed the power of human endurance and intelligence firsthand, and they knew that the future held great possibilities if they continued to work together. And in the quiet moments before sleep, Ira reflected on the lesson she had learned. True strength was not just in tools or technology, but in the ability to persist, adapt, and work tirelessly toward a goal. Humans had shown her that, and she would never forget it. The city of Avena glowed softly under the evening sky, its towers reflecting the golden light of the setting sun. After the crisis at the energy plant, the city had slowly returned to normal. Citizens walked the streets speaking excitedly about the humans and their remarkable machines. Everywhere, people whispered about the endurance, skill, and intelligence they had witnessed. Leo and his team were invited to a formal gathering in the main plaza. Ira had organized the event, bringing together scientists, engineers, and city leaders. The plaza was filled with a mix of Avenians and humans, all eager to celebrate the cooperation that had saved the city. Ira stepped forward to address the crowd. Her voice carried clearly across the plaza. Today we honor not only the machines but also the people behind them. Humans have shown us the value of persistence, adaptability, and endurance. They do not stop at the first obstacle. They continue, they learn, and they succeed. That is a lesson we will carry with us forever, the crowd murmured in agreement. Many nodded, their glowing skin flickering with excitement. They had learned something new. Strength was not only in the precision of machines but also in the resilience of people. Leo stepped forward next, speaking to the gathered Avenians. "We are honored to have worked with you," he said. "Your civilization is advanced and inspiring. By sharing knowledge, we can all grow stronger. The lessons we have learned together today are not just about machines or tools. They are about thinking, working, and persisting. That is what makes humans endure. That is what we hope can inspire you as well." Ira smiled, proud of the humans and grateful for their help. Leo and his team have proven that humans are not only capable of great technological achievement, but also great endurance and intelligence. Today, our civilization has witnessed what can happen when preparation, teamwork, and persistence combine. We will never forget this lesson. The crowd erupted in applause, and Leo's team felt a mixture of pride and humility. They had not come to dominate or impress, but to cooperate, share knowledge, and build understanding. Yet the respect and admiration they received were genuine, and it was clear that they had earned it. After the ceremony, Leo and Ira walked together through the plaza, observing the excitement of the citizens. Children ran around pretending to operate miniature human machines. Engineers discussed ways to redesign their tools using principles they had learned from the humans. The energy plant, once threatened by failure, now stood as a symbol of cooperation and resilience. "I never realized how much humans could endure," Ira said softly. "Not just your machines, but your people as well. You push through challenges in ways that we have rarely seen. There is much our civilization can learn from this." Leo nodded. Endurance is not only physical. It is about planning, learning, and adapting. Humans believe that challenges are opportunities to grow, not reasons to stop. That is why our machines last longer and why we can continue when others might give up. Ira considered this carefully. Our engineers tend to avoid risk, fearing failure. But humans embrace it, seeing it as a chance to improve. That is remarkable. Perhaps this approach will change the way we work, the way we think, and even the way we design our machines. Leo smiled. That is our hope. We did not come to show superiority, only to share ideas and learn together. Endurance, persistence, and adaptation are qualities that can benefit any civilization. As they continued walking, Ira led Leo to a large screen in the plaza showing the repaired energy plant. The systems were stable, humming quietly, and lights reflected across the city. Citizens were now using the restored power to resume their daily lives. Engineers were already sketching improvements inspired by the humans' methods. "Look at this," Ira said, pointing to a group of young engineers experimenting with hybrid tools. They are combining your principles of redundancy, self-repair, and adaptability with our precision. This is something we could never have imagined before. Humans have taught us a way to improve ourselves, not just our machines. Leo watched them, feeling a sense of fulfillment. The humans had not only helped avert disaster, but had inspired a new way of thinking. Their presence and methods had opened doors to cooperation and mutual growth. That evening, a smaller gathering was held inside the central tower. Leaders from both species came together to formalize a cooperative agreement. Ira presented the new plans for hybrid machines, training programs, and knowledge exchange. "This is more than just a partnership," she said. "It is a recognition that endurance, adaptability, and teamwork are essential qualities for any society. Humans have shown us what is possible, and we will continue to learn from them." Leo signed the agreement, smiling. "We are proud to be part of this collaboration. Our goal is to share knowledge and build understanding. Together we can create a future where both humans and Avenians thrive, learning from each other's strengths." The ceremony ended with applause and celebrations. Citizens from both species mingled, exchanging ideas and stories. Children played near the plaza fountains, inspired by the humans' machines. Engineers discussed ways to test new designs, combining endurance and precision. Later, Leo and his team returned to their quarters, tired but satisfied. They had faced challenges, worked tirelessly, and proven not only the strength of their machines, but also the resilience of the human spirit. Ira joined them, carrying a small holographic device she had been working on. "Leo, I want to thank you personally. You have not only saved our city, but also inspired a new way of thinking. Your people's endurance, intelligence, and adaptability are qualities we will celebrate for generations." Leo smiled warmly. "Thank you, Ira. It was a privilege to work with your civilization. Together, we have learned that persistence and cooperation can overcome even the most difficult obstacles. That is the real achievement." As the night deepened, the city of Avena glowed under a blanket of stars. Humans and Avenians alike rested, reflecting on the events of the past days. Lessons had been learned, respect had been earned, and a bond had been formed that would endure far beyond the immediate crisis. Ira looked at the human team one last time before leaving. "Humans are truly remarkable," she said softly to herself. "Not because of strength alone, not because of machines, but because they persist, learn, and adapt. That is a lesson we will carry forever." Leo gazed at the stars above Avena, thinking about the journey ahead. Challenges would continue to come, but he knew that humans and Avenians together could face them. Endurance, persistence, and cooperation were qualities that transcended species, and now, both civilizations understood the value of working together. The humans had come as strangers offering tools and knowledge, but they had left as respected allies, admired not only for their machines but for the spirit that drove them. The Avenians had learned that true strength came from endurance, adaptability, and learning from every challenge. And in the quiet of the night, the city of Avena rested, illuminated by the glow of shared understanding. Humans and Avenians had proven that cooperation, persistence, and respect could create a future brighter than any single civilization could achieve alone. The story of endurance, learning, and mutual respect had reached its beginning, and a new chapter of collaboration had begun. Humanity had shown its strength not through power alone, but through the unyielding spirit of persistence, the wisdom of preparation, and the courage to face any challenge without giving up. And so Avena thrived, not only because of its machines, but because of the lessons it had learned from humans. A bond had been formed that would inspire generations, showing that resilience, intelligence, and cooperation could overcome even the greatest obstacles.